JapanPOPtv. Japanese McDonald's versus American McDonald's. This time, there's been a buzz about the news in Japan regarding the differences in commercials between McDonald's in the United States and Japan. I will present the Japanese reactions to this event. I'll provide some context beforehand. The fact that American McDonald's ran this advertisement in X was during the time when the 2020 borough movement was gaining momentum. Riots occurred across various parts of America, and many stores were looted and vandalized, which even people in Japan heard about through the news. It appears to be one of the advertisements American McDonald's released as a formal response to those circumstances. In that case, comparing it to Japanese-only commercials might not be entirely fair. However, when presented in this manner, people who aren't aware of the situation may innocently share the information, and such information can also carry a certain influence. We always need to understand the context behind the information. With that in mind, please watch the program. It originally started on X, formerly Twitter, where comparison videos of McDonald's commercials from the United States and Japan were posted, and there were many overseas comments expressing envy for Japan's commercials. Regarding American comments, in summary, there were quite a few opinions, like the following. Political correctness and LGBTQ elements have dominated the media, and it's become exhausting. Seeing a normal family like in this Japanese commercial without thinking things makes me happy. Many Japanese individuals, especially on the internet, were in agreement with such opinions. For example, in Japan, there are many voices expressing frustration with recent Disney trends, primarily on the internet. In Japan, there is a prevalent opinion that movies should respect the original source material. Entertainment is meant to allow us to forget about the real world and play in the realm of imagination, which is why it's considered a wonderful thing. Some also argue that when real-world issues are imposed on works, it becomes difficult to enjoy them wholeheartedly. While excessive escapism can be a concern, Japan does indeed have a tendency in that direction. The development where the protagonist is reborn as a sort of Superman at the beginning of the story is a significant genre in manga and light novels. Let's return to the topic. In the United States, there is a situation where commercials and movies are expected to incorporate elements related to political correctness and LGBTQ issues, right? It can be challenging for Japanese people to fully understand the situation in the United States as a multicultural nation. Japan is not a homogeneous nation either. It includes various ethnicities, such as Koreans, Chinese, and indigenous minority groups. Japan does have its share of issues with countries like South Korea and China, and there are many Japanese individuals who hold biases. However, overt discrimination is not commonly observed. Moreover, it's often challenging to visually distinguish between ethnicities in East Asia. Discrimination based on a quick visual assessment doesn't happen here. Many Japanese people, when they go abroad and are insulted with phrases like "you Asians," for the first time, only then come to realize racial discrimination. Those individuals often say, "I was surprised to experience discrimination. I didn't realize discrimination actually existed." Such Japanese individuals may not be aware of how some Westerners view Asians. Understanding a multicultural nation like the United States can indeed be challenging for them. Keeping that in mind, let's consider the Japanese reactions.
Poor thing, feminists are causing a stir in Japan too, but it's not at that level. I don't have an appetite for McDonald's with this kind of commercial. No one is going to kill you. It's more likely to be us. Recognizing the rights of minorities is important, but it's not right to only respect them. Isn't it normal for a man and a woman to get married and have children? It's strange not to be able to see scenes like this. Everyone feels compelled to conform to the volume of political correctness and LGBTQ voices, and no one dares to oppose. In the midst of diversity, there is no room for opinions that do not acknowledge diversity. It feels suffocating. If it's about diversity, couldn't America make similar commercials with just white families or black families? Why do there have to be white, black, transgender, gay, and lesbian individuals in the same place? Diversity is good, and it should be promoted. However, it's strange that there are values being excluded within diversity. Even those values should be preserved as part of diversity, but the people advocating for diversity view them as enemies. Even non-Westerners would go crazy over this. I don't have this kind of future. Japanese anime has diversity in hair colors, blue, green, orange. It's like a rainbow, isn't it? A typical case of a negative influence of noisy minorities. You can tell a person's character by whether they envy or feel happy seeing someone else's happiness. There used to be a trend in fashion shows not to use models who are too thin. So isn't it strange to use overweight models?
There are various opinions on the matter, but at least in Japan, it seems that there is a negative sentiment towards political correctness and LGBTQ issues, especially on the internet. While these issues are gradually gaining recognition in Japan, it appears that the more extreme news from overseas is having a significant impact. Particularly in the realm of sports, news about transgender individuals winning against female athletes has sparked considerable controversy. I'll reiterate, the individuals who made these comments may not be aware of the circumstances surrounding American McDonald's at the time. Since there is no information control, it's essential to conduct your research. If you have something that piques your interest, I recommend doing some thorough Googling. It's never too late to express your opinions. Well then, goodbye!